I hope everyone's having a beautiful morning, guys. It is hump day. Good morning, Georgia. Good morning, it's Waffles. Yeah, Dex. Well, people say, "Oh, I didn't know you were bald." Like, yeah, I mean, like I have hair now. My wife likes the bald look, but yeah, I started growing my hair back out. I have a bald fade now. So, good morning, Manders. Good morning, Vaj. Good morning, Peachy. Good morning, Lotus. Who else we got over on the Twitch? It's hump day and it's tax day, guys. Make sure, today is the day. Today is the day. If you have not did those taxes today, I've got to get those done. Got to get those taxes completed. So make sure if you haven't done those taxes that, you tap in, twin, because Uncle Sam, they wants the monies. They wants their monies. We got to make sure. And because of Jimothy, right, people are getting less back on their taxes this year. It's no bueno. More people are actually paying back. Not the ultra wealthy, though. The ultra wealthy are absolutely getting their coins. Guys, if we could, can we knock out the daily gift goal? It's the little creepers. Can we knock out the creepers, please? Please, 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 and thank you. We're going to get started here in just a moment. So I need everyone to do all the wonderful things. Tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me, knock out the daily gift goal. I'm going to keep resetting the gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals. It'll help boost the live and push us out to the FYP. But also, I need each and every one of you to do the wonderful things. Boom, there we go. I need everyone to do all the wonderful things. So if you don't mind, like lock in. All right. And we are going to, let me do that there. All right. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Like I said, this is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. So if you are a Trump supporter or if you disagree with anything on the background, get in the box. If you are a friendly, do all the wonderful things. You guys know how we start, so let's start it off right.
You stepped in the box, now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here, you better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in chain. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats who get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit.
Hey!
Step in if you dare. Truth hit hard like a punch in the air. Ain't no rules, no plan, no script. One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield. Better know your stuff or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana. I don't care what you claim or your background. Facts only, if not, get clapped down. Whether you're left or right, or you don't even vote. If your logic is weak, I'll sink your boat.
Boom!
You talk slick, but you ain't got source.
Nope.
Just vibes, that ain't power, that's force. I'm the test, the trap, the trip, the call. You slip once, I'm snatching it all. Yeah. Step in if you dare. If you dare. Get hard like a punch in the air. Punch in the air.
Ain't no
rules, no plan, no script. Yeah.
One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield.
Better know your stuff
or you get revealed. Step in, don't you wanna? Sparring with Santana.
Step in if you dare. You dare. Get hard like a punch in the air.
Ain't no
rules, no plan, no script.
One wrong move, get cooked real quick. No cap, no shield.
Better know your stuff or you get revealed.
Ayy.
Step in, don't you wanna?
Ayy.
Sparring with Santana. Yeah. This ain't a safe place.
It is not.
This is flame space.
It absolutely is.
Wanna sparring with Santana.
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. I am Santana, guys, and we are only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It is only one coin. It will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. And if you don't mind, oh, I didn't put I said, oh, thank you guys for reminding me that I didn't have the background up. You guys are awesome. Boom. There we go. Got it. W's in the chat for the chat. W's in the chat for the chat. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. If you are a friendly, tap the screen, share the live. I'm like I said, I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals. If we can knock those out a couple of times, it will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. Also, if you're over on YouTube's, hit that thumbs up for me. Please, please, please. Hit that thumbs up for me. So if we can, hitting those thumbs up will help push the VOD out and get more people in here. If you're over on TikTok, right? Share the live maybe once or twice. That helps a lot, but more than sharing the live, more than sharing the live, if we can repost the live, that will actually really help boost the live and push us out to the FYP. Like I said, we're looking for some debates, and where we are today is that America doesn't really care, right? I think we all have a great understanding as far as where our country lies and what our country does or does not care about. And I think we can all agree that America doesn't care. America doesn't care when it comes to Republicans. They don't care about the Epstein survivors. Thank you for the cake. America absolutely does not care. I'm sorry, Republican does not care about the Epstein survivors, period. They have shown that in their actions. They have shown that in their words. They have shown that in their lack of transparency. They have shown that in their lack of accountability. They have shown that in every single opportunity that they've had. But that's who the Republican Party is. That's what the Republican Party is about. But it's not just the Republicans. Democrats, more specifically, moderate Democrats. Moderate Democrats, they don't care about our country. Which is funny because they're supposed to be the ones that are actually standing up. They're supposed to be the ones that's on the right side of justice. They're supposed to be the ones that actually do something beneficial for the people. But if you're a moderate Democrat, you don't give a damn about our country. Like, stop playing. Stop pretending. We know who you are. We see you. And if you're a moderate Democrat, only thing that I really have to say is get the hell out of the way. Honestly, if you're a moderate Democrat, the only thing that I have to say is get the hell out of the way, because not only are you taking up space, you're stopping progress. Period. White men. This is the one that a lot of white men actually struggle with, because white men, they don't really care about anything except power. White men can pretend that they care about their family. White men can pretend that they care about the country. White men can pretend that they care about the Constitution. But every single action, hey, what do they say? Actions speak louder than words. And while white men, your words may say that you care, your actions, you don't give a damn. If it ain't about power, it ain't about shit. White women, you're not absolved. The only thing, you guys don't care about white supremacy. And I can prove it. I can absolutely prove it. Try me. Last but not least, BLAGA, FBA. You guys don't care about black people. And that's a fact. You guys talk big game, but you guys don't really care about black people. Only request up if you're a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
No, I just had a quick question. Like you said, moderate Democrats. Mm-hmm. I'm not. I wouldn't consider myself a moderate Democrat. I'm more of on the democratic socialist side of things, just because I've learned things from like the Nordic countries, how they do stuff. I like the way their government's kind of structured. Mm-hmm. I was gonna ask, like, what is your opinion on democratic, like socialist? Like, would you consider them as comparable to the moderate Democrats, or
no? Like, I'm a democratic socialist myself, so.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. It's my first time up here, but I enjoy watching. I just wanted to ask that quick question.
All right, no worries. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Guys, only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We are only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Again, if you are a friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It will boost the live and push us out to the FYP. Two things that I really want to talk about on the background, because it seems like these two groups have been quiet as a church mouse. They've been quiet as a church mouse, and I wonder why. The two groups that I want to call down to the center stage is white women, right? I'm going to start with white women. Because you know what the interesting thing is about white women? White women who claim to be liberals, who claim to be on the right side of history, but have not done the work, are the most harmful. White women who say they are liberals, they're on the right side of history, but they have not done the work, are the most harmful. Why? Why do you say that, Santana? I'll tell you why. Because everything that they do without having a true understanding is performative. Everything that they do without actually having a sense of understanding, a sense of connection, a sense of like actually learning, everything that you do without that actual foundation is performative. That's why you see things like, oh, I'm going to change my Instagram profile to a black square, and that's going to show that I stand in solidarity. Oh, okay. That's why you see things like Kamala Harris lost the 2024 presidential election, and I want people to know that I didn't vote for Donald Trump. Check out my blue bracelet. That's performative. When I often throw this question at them, and this is a litmus test. White women, would you consider yourself to be a feminist? Are you a feminist? And if you say yes, if you say you're a white woman that's a feminist, and then I say, why was there a need for womanism if feminism already existed? And you can't answer that question, I'm talking about you. If you're a white woman and you say that you're a feminist, but you don't know why womanism was needed, I'm talking about you. Come up here. Let's have a seat. You're the ones that I'm talking about that I say that you don't care about white supremacy. I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I'm not saying that you don't have good intentions. I'm just saying that you haven't done the work yet and you don't know what you don't know. And the only way that we can fix that is by giving you a chance to learn what you don't know. Now, you said, repeat the question. You said, what's womanism? Never heard of that? Stacy, stay mad. Get up here. Come up here. If you're a white woman and you consider yourself on the left, on the right side of history, and you don't know what the difference is between feminism and womanism, then get up here. Because you're the person I'm talking to. Now, I got another group that I got smoked for, but let's give it a second because we got someone in the request. Let's see how this goes. Hi there, partner. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
No, I don't know what womanism is.
Okay. And you are a white woman, right?
Absolutely.
Would you say that you are on the left?
Yes.
Would you say that you do care about white supremacy?
I disagree with white supremacy.
Okay. Cool. We'll get started. I see that you follow me, so I think you may know who I am.
Absolutely, yeah. I follow you. I follow Dean.
Okay, perfect. Well, in that case, would you mind just for a moment if I give a quick introduction to not only who I am, but what this is?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, guys, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Guys, welcome in. This is Sparring with Santana, one-on-one debates with Trump supporters or anyone that disagrees with anything on the background. I am Santana, and guys, only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin. It will boost the live, push us out to the FYP. I'm going to keep resetting the daily gift goal to these little 1-cent gift goals. If we can knock those out a couple of times, that'll help boost the live as well. Right now, it's the pink heart puffs. Guys, can we please knock those pink heart puffs out? Please knock those pink heart puffs out. So, all right, so let's talk about this, because the initial question that brought you up, that sparked your attention, is you are a white woman, you're on the right side of history, and you deem yourself to be a feminist, but you don't know what womanism is. So before we go too far, a couple of quick questions for you, because you said you disagree with white supremacy. When you say you disagree with white supremacy, can you tell me what that means?
I don't think any race is superior.
Okay. So you don't think any race is superior. Okay, cool. Do you think that you actively fight against white supremacy?
I wouldn't say I fight against it, no. But no, I mean, if it's brought to me, I don't really, you know what, I live in a rural area, and it's never really in my face. But if somebody were to say something negative about another race, I would definitely say something. In fact, because I'm not a Trump supporter, and I've spoken out about that, like, I'm on the shit list at work, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
Got it. Okay, so you don't seek out to fight against white supremacy, but you don't allow negative things to be spoken in your presence. Got it. Would you consider yourself to be an ally to marginalized communities?
I don't know if I'd go that far, but I would like to. I mean, I've never done anything to be an ally, but I guess I would like to consider myself that. But because I've never done anything to be an ally, I guess the answer would be no.
What would you say is the most that you've actually done, in the sense of, like, helping protect marginalized communities, like, in your opinion?
Nothing.
Okay. So would it be fair to say that if there's nothing that you've actually done, and you're openly admitting that, like, there hasn't been anything measurable when it comes to helping marginalized communities, would it be fair to say that you don't care about white supremacy?
No, I mean, I absolutely care about it. It frustrates me. It angers me. The whole idea of it is disgusting.
Right, but it's not something that moves you enough to actually do anything, right? I mean, like,
well, I don't know what I could do in my rural community, but I raised my daughter against it, if that counts.
What does your family look like? Immediate family, or like, mom, dad, siblings, husband, anything else? I know you said you have a daughter, but like your immediate family, how does that look?
White.
No, I mean, like, are your parents still
Hispanic.
around, or you have siblings?
Oh yeah, mom and dad are still around. Parents, I'm sad to admit, are, I'm not going to say they're racist, but they say racist things now and then, and I actively fight against that.
How so?
I tell them how inappropriate it is. I tell them how it's not true. I get into the, but I don't think, but they do have, okay, so my stepmom was Asian. I don't know, hard to explain. Like they'll make racist comments now and then, but I don't believe, I think it's because it's the way they were raised. I don't think it's that they actually don't like another culture.
Racism culture.
Makes sense. Or don't like another nationality?
Racism.
Don't like another. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know. I think you understand what I'm trying to say, though,
right? They don't like another race.
Okay, yeah. I don't think that that's true, but the comments they make now and then look like they don't.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, I mean, I hear you. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about it, right? Your parents are racist. Like, let's call a spade a spade, right?
Yeah, okay.
It may be a tough pill to swallow,
right.
But like, that's what it is. And I understand, right? Especially when it comes to, a lot of people get uncomfortable when they have to unpack these things that pertain to themselves or the people that they love, right? I always tell the story about the first time I really, really, really had to face my misogyny was when my wife, the person I love the most in this world, outside of my kids, is she told me directly, "Hey, you're a misogynist," right?
Oh.
And that was something really tough to hear from my wife. But I was like, you know what? I got to unpack that, because if my wife is calling me out on this, I know that she doesn't have like malicious intent. And I also know that she sees who I am, right? She sees past all the other stuff to the core of who I am as a person. And so from that point on, I've actively every single day been working to address my misogyny, right? Because men are inherently misogynist. And so that's something that I actively fight against every single day. It's not something that I'm great with. I'm not the best person in the world, but I actively show up and try to do the work every single day. And that's the thing about like white supremacy and someone being okay with white supremacy or being a racist. When you talk about like your parents and they say things that may be racist, racism isn't just about saying things. Racism is much, much more deeper than that, right? It's a system that has been persistent and consistent since the creation of it, since the 1400s. I think it was like 1452. But it's been something that has disenfranchised Black people as a whole, and then also other non-white people. The point that I'm getting to, though, is if you want to say that you care about white supremacy, if you want to dismantle white supremacy, then you have to actually actively fight against white supremacy every single day. And it can look like different things for different people. I know you said you don't know exactly what you could do in your little small town. I understand that. Things are different for different people, and different levels of like actually fighting and working. It's different depending on what you have access to, resources, time, all this other stuff. The biggest thing that I can say is you have to start with education, right? And the first step to education is learning just like the basic levels. You definitely need to learn what race is. But you would want to learn what's the difference between race, ethnicity, nationality. You would want to look at what deconstructing would look like for you. And then you would want to look at a couple of different things, or one other really good thing, especially since you're a woman, you would want to take a look at is the creation of feminism, right? And how the creation of feminism it was actually colonized by white women, right? And white women took up the actual mantra and the efforts of feminism and then centered themselves, and in turn excluded any woman that was not white. And so the need for womanism derived because feminism was all about white women. Womanism was about every single woman and femme presenting person, right? So it was more inclusive and it covered every single thing. You said that's not true?
No,
wait,
I said,
hold on.
oh,
No. Someone in the comments said that's not true. Come up here and tell me why that's not true. I just sent you all mother, all spacey mother. Come up here and tell me about it. Come up here and tell me about it. Yes, Alice Walker. Yes. You said that's not true.
I will only talk for a second. The reason I say it's not true, and not that it can't be partially true, but not entirely true, is because feminism has a name, but it doesn't. It's existed through all of time. You cannot say it was co-opted by, quote unquote, white people, because it has been independently developed by every woman through history. And that's all. Also,
so tell me about the coining of the term and the standard and organization of the actual term of feminism and womanism, because like they were derived from the same people and they were derived after each other. And so while I do understand the principles of quote unquote feminism, the movement of feminism and the direct actual creation of feminism is absolutely something that was created. And then there was a necessity for womanism. Like we have this documented.
I feel like there are lots of, points where you can argue about when quote unquote feminism started. Obviously more, pardon me, I'm making breakfast, brunch, sorry. What do you call it? More formalized beginnings. Have a couple of theological argumentative spots where they're at. One very specific one, though, is in France by a woman named Simone de Beauvoir. And if you don't know her, you should read her work. It's amazing. And she does happen to be white. I think, actually, she might be not 100% white. I don't know. But
okay, again, like the one thing that I think that you're missing out, and I really need you to hear me when I say this, is that the principles of feminism, yes, they have absolutely been around since I think it's the 18th century or whatever. Like it's not something new. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that the principles of feminism was something that was just created. What I'm saying is that the formal understanding and the way that it's currently used today and the way that things are actually, oh dang, hold on. Why does it look like this? Wrong screen. The actual way that feminism is structured today, and then the necessity for womanism, and this is from Harvard Law, that gives a brief overview and then looks at the actual movement, because this is an actual movement. This isn't just something where we're talking about woman empowerment and things like that, but the actual movement was something that was spurned on in the late 1970s. And then in the 1982, womanism came about by Alice Walker, because the actual premise of Black women, I'm sorry, not Black women, but all other non-white women were not being centered, and feminism was only something that was restricted to white women.
I think that you're right about the racism aspect, because it's literally everything. And that obviously sucks for somebody who suffers from it. I wouldn't say I don't, but obviously it's not the same at all, not even close. But the thing is, while racism is so prevalent and so important to like work on, like who knows when it could be fixed, work on at the very least. Feminism is bigger. It's more than race. Obviously.
Wait, you said feminism is bigger than racism?
Yes, because there are more women than there are Black people or brown people or red people or any colored people. So yes, feminism.
What's red people? What are you talking about? What are red people?
I was saying colors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're wrong. You're wrong.
You think that there are more people of color than there are women in the world?
It's not about being more people of color versus more women. It's literally about intersectionality. Do you not know what intersectionality is?
Can I ask you a question though?
Sure, but can you answer my question first? Do you know what intersectionality
yes, sir. What is it? Intersectionality, the crossover of things, correct?
Crossover of what?
Well, if you're talking specifically right now about feminism and racism, right?
No. Intersectionality is the intersection where the different characteristics that one has, where it places you on the patriarchal the patriarchy, right? And so when you talk about who sits at the top of the patriarchy, of course, white men sit at the top of the patriarchy, but then it's followed by white women. And so white women have more access and they are held in a higher regard in society. And so they're less disenfranchised than other marginalized groups. I'm not saying women aren't a part of a marginalized group, because they are. White women are, because they're a woman, but their proximity to whiteness gives them privileges ahead of anyone else. If you take a look at who is the most—
not disagree with what you're saying at all.
Right.
Like everything you're saying is right. But that's why I had a question too, though. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry about that.
I was just going to say, if you take a look at who is the most marginalized group among us, if you want to talk about the most marginalized group, it would be a Black trans woman with a disability, because of the different levels of intersectionality. And even if you talk about like members of the same group, i.e. Women, right? White women are more privileged than Black women. If you look at the queer community, if you take a look at like gay men, while they may be a part of a marginalized community because they're gay, if they're still, gay white men, they may be a part of a marginalized community because they're gay, but they're still a white man. And so they get more privilege than a gay Black man or a gay Asian man or a gay indigenous man. So that's what intersectionality is. And even more so, like the point that I'm getting across is, while you may say that feminism is bigger than racism, feminism, the reason why you keep sticking to feminism is because white women co-opted feminism and centered themselves. If you really were about the movement, we would be talking about womanism, because that's about all women and femme presenting people. That's not just about white women. You still there?
You hear me?
You were kind of muffled.
Sorry, I was saying I do agree with what you're saying. I wanted to ask a question though that I feel is poignant.
Yeah, go ahead. And then we got Kenzie up here, and I'm going to let Kenzie take it as well.
You should definitely talk to other people.
No. I think Kenzie wanted to speak to you specifically, but go ahead with your question.
Well, my question is, say you have a perfect world happening, obviously millions of years, if never, but say racism is going to get fixed, and say womanism, feminism, equal treatment of everybody is going to get fixed. Which one do you think is going to happen first? It's not going to be.
I don't think that it's
different genders.
I don't think there's a whole thing of like which one happens first. We need to dismantle and abolish all those systems. We need to disembowel.
Which one is more prevalent?
I think that question is a little nonsensical, because once you start to tear down these systems, once you start to tear down the systems such as racism, you can tear down the structure of gender. You can tear down the patriarchal. It's all connected. And so, like, saying which one first, like, if you say which one's first, like, you have to talk about all of them. It's not about which first. It's about how do you get rid of all of them.
I am affected by one more than you, because I'm not Black. Well, yeah, because I'm not Black. I'm just a woman. And there's also a negative thing.
You're impacted by racism to the point that you don't even understand it. And you think just because you're not Black, that it's not as a pressing issue.
Not as bad as you, because you get literally, like, some might even say worse than Black women. A Black man is very much more in danger.
No, I just covered the patriarchal system.
Pulled over as often as Black men do.
I just covered the hierarchy. Black men are still men.
Well, I know that. I'm not saying in general altogether. Obviously, Black women have it way worse, like, because of life. But if you're going to
Kenzie,
say
you got it.
attack.
I just don't know how you think feminism can be achieved if Black women still experience racism.
Well, I don't think it can. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, by the way.
So if we're gonna like look at the liberation of women, then I think the only logical strategy for that is intersectionality, because your marginalization does depend on aspects of your identity. And obviously Black women can't experience liberation if they're still experiencing racism.
I agree with you. I would only equate it to your basement is flooded and there's a bunch of shit everywhere. The shit is the racism and the flood is the unequal genderism. You can't fix one until the other's fixed first. And honestly, racism should be fixed first because women have been dealing with this forever. They can manage it. And I think that a long time ago, racism wasn't as bad because white people didn't get to shit on everything.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because the impact that racism has also impacts how sexism
I'm gonna mute you just for a second while Kenzie is talking because of the background noise. You're good though, but I'm just gonna mute you for a moment. All right, go ahead, Kenzie. Sorry.
I don't agree with the analogy because it separates racism from sexism, where Black women experience that simultaneously and one influences the other. That's what the concept of misogynoir is that it's a unique misogyny based on their Blackness.
Also, one thing that I want to call out really quick, chat. If you guys are in the chat and everyone needs to check their misogyny or internalized misogyny. Like, I don't know what's happening down at the chat, but you guys know better than that. We don't do that here. So stop. Also, out-of-pocket comments about the guests, like, we don't do that either. Lock the fuck in, chat. Keep it together. Like, we're having an actual genuine conversation. So please don't do that. All right, send your requests. Did you get an opportunity to hear what Kenzie just said?
Yeah, they just had me. That's ready if you're interested in. Okay,
I'm sorry.
I was telling my husband to get the food that he's hungry. I missed what you said though. The last part.
I don't agree with your analogy because it's the idea that racism and sexism are a separate idea, when racism influences how Black women or women of color experience sexism. That's what the concept of misogynoir is that it's misogyny that's also foundational to their Blackness.
Well, I agree with you. I think part of I have an internalized concept of Black women as being stronger and more powerful than white women because of how I grew up.
That's a racist trope.
Black women don't hate themselves.
That's a trope. You shouldn't say that. Sorry.
No, I literally feel that way because I feel like Black moms are better moms.
The trope of Black women having to be strong is
love.
I'm telling you that is a racist trope that you should not lean on because it is derived from the point that Black women have to quote unquote be stronger and they have to take on more. They have to be long suffering, and then it also connects with
why it happened was good. I just noticed it. And I wish that I had been given a mom that was strong like that. That's why I noticed it.
I think that's an example, again, of how, like, the example you just gave is an example of how Black women are excluded from aspects of femininity, because femininity has very much been constructed under the idea of whiteness.
I think you misunderstood me then. Because when I meant strong, I meant with self-love and acceptance.
I wish you would just stop for a second and listen, because like you're not being receptive to what we're trying to explain to you.
Sorry, I felt like you were misunderstanding.
And no. We hear you, and Kenzie and I both are trying to address it. Like, I started going where Kenzie was going, and now Kenzie is like really trying to drive this home. So I need you to stop trying to fight to defend yourself in the moment and just like be receptive of what we're saying. We're not saying that you're bad or evil. Like, we're just trying to explain to you what you're saying and how you're thinking is harmful to Black women. So just stop for a second and listen. Sorry, go ahead, Kenzie.
So when we think about the idea of femininity, it has very much been constructed around the idea of whiteness, that you need to be soft, you need to be petite, you need to be small. And so Black women have been excluded from that based on stereotypical characteristics of being giving, strong, enduring, these kind of ideas. And so taking that, accepting that concept of femininity, it is just, again, adhering to a white supremacy standard.
You're saying, I was specifically talking about the way that I have Black mother friends that I've met, and they taught me how to teach my children self-love and self-respect with affirmations and things. And that's what I was talking about by strength, is the ability to learn self-regulation and love for yourself. I wasn't talking about the inability to be soft.
Well, maybe I'm confused here. What is your principle or your argument here? What are you stating?
Because I was saying concept? That the reason I
also listen, no offense, but we can't do the crying here. White women tears is very dangerous.
Sick. Sorry about
that. Okay. I thought you might have been crying. I just wanted to clear that up because
I do cry easily because I have a lot of trauma, but I'm not right now. If that helps.
Yeah, I was just saying white women tears are super harmful, so we don't want to do that. But anyway, go ahead. You were giving Kinsey some more information.
Well, the only reason I came up is because I respected Santana and he sent me a request. But I literally am not trying to argue with any of the points. I was just saying that I don't feel like it's 100% fair, at least, to say that white people or white women even, or white female leaning have co-opted through white supremacy and racism, the feminist type movement, because of the fact that it's been separated and brought through history many times. Obviously, what you're talking about matters, and I would never discount it, and it is true. I just feel like people coming into the stream, they're not going to go out
let me
their
hop in
way
for a second.
so
Kenzie, just so you understand exactly where we were, I was breaking down the points on the background, and I explained that if you are a white woman and you claim to be a feminist, but yet you don't know what womanism is, then you are one of the people that I want to talk about. And I talked about the reason that womanism was derived was because of the way the white women co-opted feminism and censored themselves specifically. And so there was a need to have womanism, which included all women, including femme-presenting people. Her pushback was that's not true. Feminism has been around forever. White women didn't cultivate it, and that's just not it. So that's how she ended up here, and that's where we have been going since then.
What is your take on the waves of feminism?
The movements or the buildup?
The concept of waves of feminism. Do you have a critique on that?
I have more critique on the origins of feminism than I do on current stuff, especially because I've been distracted for a bunch of years, so I'm not well versed on what current movements there are in the last 50 years of things.
So to maybe further explain the question so that you understand, when we look at the history of how feminism has been portrayed and recorded, often people put it in waves. And if we look at the first quote unquote wave of feminism from 1840 to 1920, this has been labeled as the suffragette movement, which the suffragette movement was so that white women could gain political power in terms of voting rights. And I would say that very much is reflective of white supremacy kind of co-opting the idea of feminism, because feminism feminism was born out of an anti-slavery movement, out of abolitionists. And so therefore that has been erased from the history. And now the white women trying to get the right to vote has been centered.
About the suffragette movement, I wanted to interject because it was about the right to vote, but it was because of what they wanted to vote on. Do you know what they were trying to get the right to vote for?
Right, they wanted more political power so that they could.
No, but do you know why?
I'm answering your goddamn question.
You're not, or you would have said it.
I am. I said 5 fucking words.
Go ahead then.
They were trying to get political power and the right to vote to abolish slavery.
No, that's not why.
Yes, it is.
It was because they wanted to raise the minimum marriage age from 12 to 16. That younger age might be wrong. It might have been younger.
It was an anti-slavery movement.
At the very
that
beginning,
is the origin of feminism.
They were trying to get the men to vote up the marriage age, and the men would not do it. So they came together as women to protect children. That's how it started.
Can you give me a source on that?
I can go into my phone and I could do it right now. Yes, I'm not going to go. And it is my point that I brought up, and I should, but I'm literally in the middle of making brunch. And I only came up because I respect Santana.
I'll say this really quickly because I'm on the National Archives. Boo, 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 boo. I'm going to put this on the screen really quickly. Let's go here, 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 and then make this smaller over here, and then go back here, and then put this here. This is from the National Archives, Women's Suffrage in the 19th Century. Several generations of women suffrage supported, lectured, wrote, marched, lobbied, and participated in civil disobedience to archive what many Americans consider a radical change to the Constitution, guarantee the rights for women to vote. The suffrage used more confrontational tactics such as picket lines, silent vigils, and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this gives a whole breakdown, and it tells about like the goals, which was in 1870, the goal was partially realized when the 15th Amendment of the Constitution granted Black men the right to vote was ratified. Women's suffrage vehemently disagreeing with over supporting the 15th Amendment, however, resulted in, what is that, schism? A schism that split the women's suffrage movement into two suffrage organizations that were forced on two different strategies to win women voting rights. So again, and I'm sorry, I should have made this bigger. Apologize, guys. Sorry. Where was I? Here. Anyway, the point that it's getting to is like this was all around fighting for equal voting rights, and even more so ensuring that Black women had voting rights and things like that. I don't see anything in here from the archives where it was talking about raising the minimum age for marriage or anything like that. So yeah, you would definitely have to let me know, because everything that is listed within the National Archives that's documented, like they have documented letters and like the actual, like here, right? This is the, actual, this is from the governor of Tennessee during that time, right? There's actual, this is from the House. This is a joint resolution. There's nothing that I see within the National Archives that talks about like raising the minimum wage. So yeah,
the marriage age.
Yeah, marriage age. I would have to lean on what Kenzie is saying, because I haven't been able to find anything else that says what you're saying.
I'm definitely not saying that the movement wasn't what you guys said also. I just was saying that I've read books and also online sources outside of the books, if you want to not count the books or whatever. But like it didn't really gain movement until they couldn't rely on the men to raise the age of marriage.
That's not true.
Have you researched it before you said it wasn't true? The marriage part.
That like at what year are you talking about?
I would literally have to, I'm not a memory bank of years, so I would literally have to go to that. I focus a lot of my time on other things, not dates. And
I'll even take a decade, because we're talking about like the Declaration at Seneca Falls, and what that was done, I believe, in 1938, 1940, or I'm sorry, 1838. So that was even before Prohibition.
I am fair insurance in the 1800s, but I cannot give a date because I don't want to give a wrong made up thing.
Well, then I just don't know like how we can get anywhere in this conversation if we're talking about the origins of feminism, because my research indicates that this was born out of the abolishment of slavery movement, because women were realizing they didn't have the political power in order to create that kind of law, which is why they were boycotting certain businesses who use slave labor.
I think that I would love to talk to you. You sound intelligent and lovely. I don't think it's right for me to be up here on Santana's stage. I think that somebody who could use a lot more help deserves to be up here. And I really like you, and I'm going to follow you.
I disagree with that. I think that you're in the right place at the right time, because no offense, I think you're the one that absolutely needs this help. And like, I think Kinsey is one of the most, one of the best people that could actually be holding your hand and walking you through this in the moment. Like, one thing that I talk about quite often is sitting in discomfort. And like right now, you're super uncomfortable. And I understand that.
I am, but it's because people are waiting on me. I have 5 other people in my home, and I'm supposed to be doing something right now, and they're waiting on me. That's why you can hear the uncomfortability.
That's not what I was talking about, but okay. Well, listen, you're welcome to come back at any time. If you end up coming back, if Kinsey isn't here, I'll always throw up the bat signal to Kinsey, and if she's available, then we can round out this conversation. But yeah, feel free to come back.
You obviously can be wrong easily. I am all the time. I have read about that.
Yeah, if you get an opportunity to come back, I would love for you to bring that source so we can look at it. Because like I said, I mean, I'm not saying that you're wrong. I mean, like people, if you say you listen to me, and anyone that knows me, I'm willing to accept anything that you say as long as you can actually prove it. So if you have a source that proves what you say, then fine, I'm with it. Let's do it. But I just need that source.
Actually, I'll spend some time today to get a list.
I think it's just like the main thing that I really wanted to highlight is that history has revised feminism to center white women's liberation, and it has erased Black origins of it. That's the point that I wanted to make, which is why I reject the idea of feminism in waves, because that's how the waves functions, is to marginalize Black voices.
I think you're right. When I was arguing at the beginning, I was just literally talking about like feminism's existence as a part of reality, and women like people being suffering. That's why I said what I said at the beginning in the chat.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming up.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me.
All right. Have a good day. Hi, Kinsey.
Hi.
How's your morning going?
Not bad. How are you?
Oh, it's going good. Going good. It's Wednesday. It's tax day. It's a day. It's a day. Interesting way to start off, but like I think a lot of people need to come to the realization of the discomfort. And honestly, Kinsey, like I appreciate those conversations way more than like talking to just a Trump supporter, because like the people like that have good intentions, at least in my opinion. But without the proper knowledge, their good intentions become harmful. And sometimes it takes us doing the work to break down like the things that they actually think and believe in order to get them going in the right direction, so we can, like weaponize them for good. So I enjoy those conversations.
No, I do too. I think it's I mean, I love theory. Like Sean and I always joke that like theory is like how we sexed.
Yeah. Kinsey, how much more time do you have?
I don't work today, so I'm good.
Okay, cool. I was gonna let you go, but then Christopher just threw a question in the chat, and I invited him up. He said, how are men inherently misogynist? And so I want to talk about that, but really quick, if you don't mind, let me run through this. Debbie's in the chat for Lillian. Lillian sent a $9.99 super chat and just sent the love, no message, just the love. Debbie's in the chat for you. Debbie's in the chat for Lily, who sent a $1 donation, said, still learning super chats instead of last night. Shut up, Google. Still learning super chat. Listen last night. Appreciate you your direction. Also, most in this ideology won't listen to anyone but men. Speaking up for trans people as men and man in society with that little bit more of respect does help. I thank you. Absolutely. Like that's the point that I try to drill home for anyone with privilege. You have to use your privilege to amplify marginalized voices and then uplift those marginalized voices. Like that's the important thing. W's in the chat though. Thank you so much for those donations, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links in the link tree in the bio. Santana Speaks For You. Santana Speaks For You is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. 1.2 thousand people hanging out here, guys. Keep tapping the screen. Let's get the likes up to 200,000 likes. Can we knock out the daily gift goal? It's the little finger hearts. Can we knock those out, please, please, please? Also, make sure we're taking care of Kinsey. While Kinsey's hanging out up here with us, make sure we're showing Kinsey some love. Make sure that we are following Kinsey, hitting Kinsey's pay links, do all the wonderful things. Christopher, so just to make sure I have an understanding as far as where you're coming from, is it that you think that not all men are misogynistic, or what are you saying?
Definitely not saying that. I think all men can be misogynistic in certain ways, whether that be like, I guess, saying that a woman's feelings aren't that serious, or degrading a certain woman, or saying that their job's not important as the man's job. It was just a genuine question. I'm actually a fan of yours. Mm-hmm. I follow you and watch you every day. So
yeah, no. I mean, you're good. That's why, like, I didn't, start off with calling you slap nuts or like, anything funny. It seems like it was a place of genuine understanding, and so we're going to try to ensure that we give you that actual information. Kinsey, do you want to start?
Sure. I guess I'm just, what is your question?
He wants to understand why we say that all men are inherently misogynistic.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess, ma'am.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he has a bit of a delay because of his bars, but yeah.
So when we talk about the concept of gender, like what do you think gender is?
Hey, Santana, I got like really bad service right now. Can I join up later?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, sorry, Kinsey. I could tell he had a really bad signal, but hopefully he can come back and we can have that conversation, because I think that's something that a lot of people need to hear, but I don't want to give it away without it being a quote unquote necessity, because yeah, someone said he's going to go research the answer. Good for him. Like, honestly, if he did, I would actually appreciate that more than him just like winging it. So I don't know. Anyway, Kinsey, if he comes back, or if any other time throughout the live, if you get the inclination you want to come back, you're more than welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Have a good one, friend.
You too. Bye.
Guys, only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. Only request up if you are a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background. We're only looking for some debates. If you're friendly, tap the screen, share the live, send your daily heart me. It's only one coin and we'll boost the live and push us out to the FYP. Excuse me. Hi, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with something on the background?
Well, can I just start off by saying that I do respect you, and I watch you, Dean, and Parker, so that's where I actually found you. But I was just wanting to ask a quick question, if that's okay.
Oh, are you a Trump supporter or disagree with anything on the background?
It's about the racism topic.
So it's not something that you disagree with? Go ahead with your question.
So I just wanted to understand, I guess, like, I understand the need to talk about racism because it's a really big thing, but I don't understand the reasoning behind debating it. Because don't you think that keeps racism like more alive than, you know, and prevalent than, you know what I'm trying to say?
I hear what you're trying to say. Okay. Yeah, we can talk about this really quick though. W's in the chat for Vash for the 170 stream streak. Vash, that is fucking crazy. 170 streams over on Twitch is crazy. W's in the chat for Lotus for the 38 stream streak. W's in the chat for Manders for the 50 stream streak. W's in the chat for Terrace Wright, who became a new follower. W's in the chat for the wonderful people over on Twitch. W's in the chat for Feisty. Feisty sent out 5 YouTube memberships. Fucking W's in the chat for Feisty. Fucking W's in the chat for Feisty. Also, Vaz, if you're listening, I know the other day some people over on Twitch ended up getting gifted some subs. Vaz, if you can send me a Discord message and let me know who those people are with their information, and I'll get them the link so they can actually join the Discord. W's in the chat for Twitch, also W's in the chat for Feisty. If anyone else likes to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links, and Linktree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat, and I will read that out. All right. So your premise is, what's the use of debating racism? Because with debating racism, it keeps it alive and prevalent. Is that an accurate summation of what you were saying?
Well, yeah, I basically think there's a difference between talking about racism and then debating it, right? Because I think debating it would, like, you know, I don't know. I don't exactly know how to say this, but it's like, I feel debating it is, I just feel like debating it's different than talking about it. And talking about it, I agree with. It should be talked about, but I don't think it should be debated per se.
Okay. And just to verify, what's your race?
I'm a white male.
Okay. Cool. Do you think I debate racism?
Well, honestly, I haven't really seen too much of that, but I was just like, just on the topic when that other lady was up here, and it was like, you know, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I'm in no way racist. I just want to understand the difference.
Yeah. Can you answer the question first though? Do you think I debate racism?
Just from what I've seen today, maybe a little bit.
How so?
I don't know. I can't remember the conversation that was going on.
Right, but I mean, again, like I'm not rejecting your premise. I'm just trying to understand your premise so I can adequately, address it. So if you feel like there is a situation that I'm actually debating racism, I would need to fully understand how you came to that actual premise so we can address it.
Okay, so I don't really think you debate racism. I would more say like some people that come up and talk about racism, it's like they're debating it and then it kind of grows from there.
Okay, so are you saying that people come up and specifically look to debate racism and then so I debate racism?
No. No, it gets brought up because of some of your prompts, like I'm sure, right? But it's not like, this is not like your main focus, obviously. But yeah, I was just trying to understand better. Like I am in no meaning disrespect to anybody in here.
No, I don't think you are. I mean, and you don't have to worry about like apologizing or anything like that. I mean, I truly am just trying to understand what you're saying. And like, I'm really trying to get to the heart of what you're saying. So I just want to make sure that I have a full understanding. So your point is, I'm debating, people come up and the things that we're talking about lends itself to debating racism. Is that what you're saying?
Well, like just some of the prompts, right? Like it looks like it's like, I read the prompts, white women, white supremacy, like white men, like that to me, it like rings like I mean,
I want
I
to
guess
debate racism.
sort of, I guess.
Cool.
Like not fully.
Tell me how.
But
is it because you see the word white men, white women?
Well, like race, right? In general, like it doesn't have to be white this, white that, or black this or black that. It's
literally
race
does.
in general.
Race literally, that's literally what race is.
Yeah. No, I know.
Like
but
there's 5 categories of race, and so pointing out specifically who you're talking about within a racial category is pertinent to defining the argument. Question for you.
Yes.
What is race?
Race, I mean, it's a color, isn't it?
No.
Race.
Who created race?
I honestly don't know.
Okay. Would you not find it important for me to like have these conversations where people like yourself, and I'm not taking a shot at you, people like yourself, white men, don't know what race is, nor know the actual origins and evolution of race, to at least spark the intellectual curiosity for them to learn?
Yeah, and that's why I like watching debates and stuff, and like yours and Dean's and all that stuff. Like I like to get educated. I'm not highly
How long have
educated.
you been watching any of my lives?
I've been in here probably like 4 or 5 times. Like I'm not always on TikTok, but yeah, this is like my 4th or 5th time in your live.
Okay, so you've listened to my live a couple of different times, and you've never heard me talk about what race is and who created it.
Maybe not at that moment, no.
How many times have you seen me on like Dean Parker or anyone else's panels?
I see you on Dean's quite a bit.
And you've never heard me talk about race, what it is, and who created it?
Not that I can recall. I'm sorry.
Okay. Someone in the chat, Tree, said we're all one race, human. You're wrong. You're wrong. You can come up here and we can talk about it as well. Sent you a request. The reason why I bring that question up is because like understanding the creation of race, understanding what race is, the creation of race, and how that has like disenfranchised non-white people is super important. I don't debate race. I don't debate human rights. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. But I will speak to facts, knowledge, and information. The reason why I point out, you know, and the question I always start with what is race? Because people who love saying like, oh, race is color, skin color. No. People say race is your ethnicity. No, there's a difference between race, ethnicity, and nationality. A lot of people like to say things that they don't understand. And I think that breaking down the misunderstanding and properly aligning the way that people think will give them a better understanding as far as what, not only what are we talking about, but how to combat those harmful systems that are in place that people don't even know what they're actually engaging with. So when I talk about race and I say, what is race? Well, race is a socially acceptable grouping of phenotypical characteristics that was created for the othering of non-white people to create a free and cheap labor class. Now, when I talk about the free and cheap labor class and, you know, the groupings of the phenotypical characteristics, they were created by a Portuguese man by the name of Gomes Inês de Zarara, who was a chronicler for Prince Henry the Navigator. And he came across a group of Black people, and he wanted to be able to justify chattel slavery. You know what chattel slavery is?
No, I've just heard about slavery in general.
Okay. Yeah. Chattel slavery is what occurred with the transatlantic slave trade, right? Specifically the enslavement of Black people based off of just being Black, right?
Yeah.
So Gomes Inês de Zarara went to the Catholic Church and said that he had come across this group of people. They were subhuman, right? They were hypersexual. They were animalistic. They were of the lower hemisphere. And so they needed to be civilized. And the way that they could be civilized was through slavery, right? Mm-hmm. And so that gave the Catholic Church the means to publish 2 papal bulls. I think one was in 1452 and the other one was in 1457. But they published papal bulls giving permission to all white countries, those European countries, to engage in chattel slavery, specifically enslaving Black people based off of those phenotypical characteristics, right? And so when you talk about slavery, and I'm sorry, why race was created, it was created to justify chattel slavery. And when you talk about how slavery has occurred here within the Americas, you talk about the fact that like the first form of capital ever traded on the New York Stock Exchange was Black bodies, right? And then when you talk about how racism persists, there's a reason why I say Black people can't be racist, and also say white people can't experience racism, right? And the reason why I say those things is because you have to understand what race and racism is and how the system is created. When you talk about the system as it existed, because that's what schism is. Racism is an actual system. You can look at the way that Black people are disenfranchised through the educational system, through the financial system, through the medical system, and it is a perpetual harm of Black people, whether people know it or not. One great thing that a lot of people don't know is like you talk about the fact that medical racism is so rampant that the mortality rate for Black women is what is it, more than twice the time of white women. The infant mortality rate is higher in Black babies, and as a matter of fact, the only time that Black babies, the infant mortality rate for Black babies is equal or is sustained is when they are taken care of by a Black doctor. Anytime that a Black baby is taken care of by any other race of a doctor, the mortality rate for them plummets. But then when you talk about the mortality rate for a white baby, the mortality rate for a white baby is the same regardless of the race of the doctor. Those are things that persist throughout medical racism. All right. And so I'll give it to you. Let me just one last point. So when I say like Black people can't be racist, it's because they cannot co-opt the tools and the benefits of racism. They can be bigoted, they can be xenophobic, they can be hateful, but they can't co-opt the actual premise of racism and get that benefit from it.
I hear everything you're saying, and I appreciate you educating me on this. Like I'm gonna be totally honest, right? Like I'm not too well versed in like racism stuff because I just, I don't like to feed into it, buy into it, like. But I have a question. Like somebody asked in the chat, do I believe that people can be racist to white people? And I think it. Yeah, people can be racist.
Tell me how.
Well, like, okay, so say I don't want to just name an individual.
How about this? Don't give me a hypothetical, right? I'll accept this, but give me something that's either on a mass scale, that's a way that racism is disenfranchising white people as a whole, or you can give me even your anecdotal experience. I'll accept that, and then we can break that down. But okay, don't make something up.
No. I'm not trying to do that. Thank you for telling me that right there. Mm-hmm. So I feel I have experienced racism towards me, and this is coming from like Native American people. I live in a place where there's a lot of Native people,
indigenous people,
and I feel like I have been a target of racism from them, because, you know, obviously people that are oppressed and people that have had racism done to them, sometimes that can make a belief or whatever towards other people.
Wait, you're still talking about like the outlines of it. Can you tell me specifically, how were indigenous people racist towards you?
Okay, well, for instance, I used to live on a reserve, and they would
a reservation?
A reservation, yeah, reservation.
Okay.
And I was being like, you know, not treated as equal as them. You know, I was being, well, like just some of the comments they made to me, right? Like, you know, like, you don't belong here. You're not one of us. Da, 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 da. Like, why are you here? Why are you trying to date our women? Blah, blah, blah. Like many different things, right?
Okay, so they made those negative comments towards you. Was there anything else that you would say, like, was them being racist towards you?
Not really, I guess.
Okay, all right. So your basis for racism and you experiencing racism was indigenous people making negative comments towards you.
Well, like in those kind of comments, right? Like if I was to say that to a person of color, I would be considered racist.
You can say black people. It's okay.
No, but I'm not just talking about one race here.
If you can say indigenous people, you can say, like, yeah, I mean, if you're talking about a race, you can just say the race. You don't have to call POC.
Okay.
All right. And you sure are anything else that you want to add to your anecdotal experience as far as how you experience racism? But I want to make sure that, like, you flesh it all out, because I do want to talk about it, but I don't want to mischaracterize anything that you have.
Well, like that's the thing, right? Like that's really been my extent towards myself, but that's why I bring up the fact that I believe that, like, everybody could be racist. It doesn't matter who you are. You know what I mean? I haven't had that much. Like, I just listed what I've experienced of racism towards myself.
Can you think of anything that you would think on, like, an actual large scale, a system of oppression that has disenfranchised white people as a whole?
Sorry, I don't understand that question.
Can you think of any type of overarching thing that on a large scale that you can say, like, hey, this thing is racist towards a majority of white people, and this affects a majority of white people?
I would say that white people don't experience racism as much as others do.
Right, that's fine, but can you name anything that you can think of? Again, I'm trying to let you completely make your point, and I have your point as far as your anecdotal experience, and we're going to talk about that. But I want to let you have the opportunity to fill in the gaps if there's anything else that you can think of as far as, like, on a large scale, the way that white people are being, impacted by racism.
No, I honestly couldn't say. I honestly don't believe that white people are really targeted for racism as much as others.
Okay, but you believe that white people can experience racism, just they don't.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, I do believe that.
Okay, cool. Really quick, W's in the chat for Annabelle. Annabelle actually sent a $5 donation saying, "Hey Santana, wanted to thank you for educating me on how I can use my privilege to help uplift other voices. I'm taking a perspectives on race class this summer, and I'm excited to learn more." W's in the chat for you, Annabelle. Holy shit, W's in the chat for Annabelle. Let me know how that goes. That's exciting. W's in the chat for Annabelle, guys. If anyone else likes to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. Pay links and link to her in the bio. Santana Speaks for You. Santana Speaks for You is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send a super chat and I will read that out. Keep tapping the screen, guys. Let's get the likes up to 200,000 likes. Also, 1.4 thousand people hanging out here. Look up at the top. If you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Hit that follow button. Hit that follow button, turn on notifications so you know when we go live. We're on our way to 200,000 followers. So please, please, please make sure you hit that follow button right now. We got 42 new followers on the stream. I know there's more than 42 people that have not followed me. So hit that follow button. All right. So what it sounds like that you're saying is that racism towards white people on an individual level breaks down to the words that people say towards white people. Am I mischaracterizing that at all?
Well, sorry, say that again. My apologies.
Sounds like you're saying that racism towards white people breaks down to the words that people say to white people to make them feel bad.
Well, isn't that isn't that what racism is like hating on a certain somebody, like because of the color of their skin, where they grew up, like whatever, that kind of thing? Like it always comes down to like people's comments.
I keep telling you no. I keep telling you no, but you keep saying it as if you're right. I'm like, I've literally said no multiple times, but you're just going like, if you keep saying more, then somehow it's going to make the answer right. I'm telling you that you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Racism isn't even based on hate. Like that's a fundamental misunderstanding that you already have. Racism is not predicated on hate at all, right? When I talked about the infant mortality rate, do you think that I'm saying that like every race of a doctor hates black babies and that's why black babies die at a higher rate than non-black babies?
No.
Okay, cool. Do you think that black babies dying is based off of like doctors saying negative words about black babies?
No.
Got it. Tell me this: when you think about like racist words that people use towards white people, can you name any of those racist words?
Yeah, but I don't think I should be saying that.
Spin that wheel. Go ahead. What do you got?
I don't know, like cracker and like, honky, all those type of things, right? Like I really don't feel comfortable saying that stuff.
But you said it, right? So okay, cracker, honky, got it. What about black people? What's a word that you would say if you had to think of the word and to be able to say it in this conversation? Like you say it however you would feel comfortable saying it right now in this conversation. What's the word that you think of when you think of like people saying racist words towards black people?
The N-word.
Okay, cool. So, like you and I both just said cracker and honky, right?
Yeah.
And then you said the N-word, and I'm saying the N-word, and both of us know what we're talking about when we say the N-word, right?
Yes.
Why is it that you can say cracker and honky and I can say cracker and honky, but neither one of us are actually saying what the N-word is?
Well, for one, I think that can get you banned on TikTok.
It can't.
It can't?
Well, it depends. It depends on how it's used and depends on what happens. But like when racists come up and they try to spam it at me, I'll say it first. Like anyway, but like in the general conversation, if you and I were just having this conversation off TikTok, no terms and services, I'm assuming that you would have used the same terminology. Is that accurate?
I wouldn't say the word, but I totally disagree with people being racist.
But but what I'm saying, the point that I'm trying to get across is that if we were having this conversation in person, you would have said the N-word like the same way that you just said it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why not actually say the word?
Because it's a derogatory term.
But you said racist words towards white people is cracker and honky. Why were you comfortable with saying cracker and honky then?
Because I'm white.
I'm not white and I said cracker and honky. I've said that multiple times.
No, I know, but like So let me understand this. It's like when a black person calls another black person the N-word. You know, it's not as much because it's not coming from somebody like a white person saying it. It's taken differently when another black guy says it to another black guy. Same with like, you know,
again, I hear you. I hear you trying to explain that. I'll just tell you you're wrong as far as that. But like, why? Can you tell me why it is that if you were up here and you were to say the N-word, then there would be repercussions. But both of us are up here in front of over 2,000 people, and I'm saying cracker and honky, and you're saying cracker and honky, and there's no repercussions for either one of us.
I don't get what you're trying to say here.
Why is it that there is no negative recourse for either one of us for saying cracker or honky in front of thousands of people right now? But if we start saying the N-word, there would be consequences for us doing that.
Because like, I don't know, we're not racist.
No. It's because there's no words that you can use that is quote unquote racist towards white people. Cracker, honky, that is not racist words towards white people because those things don't exist. When you talk about, people love to throw the whole cracker thing around. The term cracker was actually started in France, right? It was literally started and weaponized by white people talking about other white people that were impoverished, right? It was used as a term for classism, right? And so then once the actual, it was cultivated here within the US during the time of slavery, and the term cracker was used for actual people that worked on the plantation, not the slave owners, but the people that literally cracked the whip towards slave owners. I'm sorry, towards slaves. So the etymology of the word has no bearings in harm or disenfranchising like people on any type of mass level. When you talk about the N-word, the reason why I can say the N-word and you know exactly what I'm talking about and I don't actually have to say the word is because one, you know the harm that word carries, and also two, the reason why we would say the N-word instead of actually saying the word like we said with cracker is because of the etymology of the word. The word has not only a long history rooted in racism. It's not just about the word being racist. It's about the way the word was weaponized in conjunction with harm of Black people. The fact that when Black people were called the N-word, they were being beaten. When Black people were called the N-word, they were being hung up from trees. When Black people were called the N-word, they were being killed. So it's not just about saying the word. It's about what that word is connected to, how it's derived, and how it was weaponized. So just sitting here and saying that the N-word is, you know, racist because it's a word, just like cracker and honky. One, you don't know the history of the words that are used when it comes to white people, but also two, you are losing sight as far as the connection between how that word the N-word has been weaponized towards Black people, right? I'll tell you this, because I say this all the time, and I'm willing to bet if everyone that's watching right now, go find a Black. If you're not Black, go find a Black friend and run this question past them. If you're Black, answer this for me in the chat. If racism for Black people was only being called the N-word, we would take that every single day and twice on Sunday. If that's all that racism was, we would proudly, happily accept just someone calling us a word every single day, all day, twice on Sunday. If that was the extent of us experiencing racism, if it was just your words, cool.
I in no way think that it's just racism is not just about words. Of course.
But wait, that's how you're saying that white people experience racism is through words.
Okay, so now that you bring up that point, it's not like people like not myself. I have never experienced this myself, but people have been like hurt or attacked or stuff like that because of like by.
See, but now you're making stuff up. Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're going to give me an anecdotal experience, we can talk about anecdotal experiences from your life. But if you can give me a specific provable thing that speaks to what you're saying, then sure, we can talk about that. But again, like I can tell you, like I mentioned, like the infant mortality rate. I gave you the information as far as like being called the N-word, right? How about this? I'll give you my anecdotal experience because you said that the way that you experienced racism was with the indigenous people on the reservation saying like names towards you and like they hurt your feelings. Got it. I'm going to share an experience with you as far as like my anecdotal experience and how the word differed for me. But give me 2 seconds. Let me thank a couple of people. W's in the chat for Mira. Mira sent a $10 Polish super chat. I don't know what that equates to, but W's in chat for Mira said, are you an atheist? Sending love from Poland. No, I'm not an atheist. I'm agnostic. But W's in chat for Mira. Thank you so much for that $10 Polish donation. W's in the chat for Jeffrey, who sent a $1 donation. I just want to apologize for any comments I made. Jeffrey, I'm not sure what comments you made. I'm not sure. W's in chat for Christopher for the $1 donation. Christopher, I got you. W's in chat for Allison for the $7 donation. And first time donating. I want to thank you for speaking the straight facts and educating me on my own privilege. I've learned a lot from you. Keep doing what you're doing. Absolutely, Allison, and welcome. Welcome to the community, and fucking massive W's for Allison, because first time donating is massive. That's huge. W's in the chat. W's in chat for Lavender for the $1 donation, saying people of color cannot be racist. Also, it's taken. Grammar, yeah, not taken, taken, absolutely. W's in the chat for Harry for the $2 donation, saying, dear white friends, when we say things like, I'm in no way racist, we close ourselves off to internal critiques and may not catch it when we do so or say something harmful. Big facts. W's in the chat for Aaron for the $1 donation, saying, honky please. F these fragile white boys from a white boy. I know Aaron. W's in the chat for Aaron. And last but not least, guys, W's in the chat for, oh, wait, 2 more. W's in the chat for Tori. What up, Tori? Who sent a $20 super chat to say, if you're the beneficiary of oppression, you cannot experience the oppression. Facts. W's in the chat for 1B Carey for the $5 super chat to say, caller, what's the difference between prejudice, bigotry, and racism? Stop giving up the game, 1B Carey. Stop it. And W's in the chat for Ian Ross over on Twitch, who just became a new sub. W's in the chat for all the donos, guys. If anyone else would like to support the live, you can do so. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, pay links and Linktree in the bio. Santana speaks for you. Santana speaks for you is the best way to support the live. If you're over on YouTube, you can send it. Thank you for the bear. You can send a super chat, and I will read that out, guys. 1.7 thousand hanging out here over on TikTok. Look up at the top. If you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Hit that follow button. Hit that follow button. We only have 48 new followers on the stream. We should have way more than 48 new followers. So go ahead and hit that follow button. Turn on notifications so you know when I go live. If you're over on YouTube, give the VOD a thumbs up. We should have as many thumbs up as we have people watching. So please, please, please hit that thumbs up. All right. I want to share a quick anecdotal experience with you as far as like words and how that materialized for me. The first time I ever experienced someone calling me the N-word, I was about 8 years old, right? Somewhere between 8, maximum 10, right? That's the first time that I can vehemently remember it. I registered it and I internalized it, right? And what was happening is myself and 3 of my friends, we were out walking up the street, and we were walking to a basketball court to go play basketball, right? And while we were walking up the street, all of us 8-year-old boys walking up the street, there was a car passing us, right? And in the car, there were 2 white men. They had to be like in their 20s, 2 young white men. And they lean out of the car, both of them out of the windows, and start slurring, like spamming the N-word at us, right? So 20-year-old some odd white men towards 4 8-year-old black boys. And this is in the South. I'm from South Carolina. And so I'm walking in the summertime in the South, in the 90s, and 4 of us walking up the street to go play basketball at a local church, and these 2 white guys in their 20s driving a car up the street, hanging out the window, and they just start calling us the N-word, right? And me, even at 8 years old, was always loud, boisterous, and never backing down. And so since they were driving, they were coming up behind us and they start screaming the N-word, I had heard people say, fuck you, right? I had heard the F word even at that age. So that's what I threw back at them. I started screaming, hey, fuck you. 8-year-old Santana, walking up the street with 3 friends in the summer in the South, 2 white men hanging out the side of a car in their 20s, screaming N-word, and I'm screaming back at them, F you. Well, what happened at that point, as they drove past us, they heard me screaming back at them, F you, and they said, F you, oh, U-turn. So in their car, they make a U-turn, and they pull over and they cut us off. We're walking on the sidewalk, 4 of us, up the street to a church to play basketball. They pull over and they swerve up on the sidewalk to block us. 2 white men in South Carolina in the summer, in their 20s, pull up on the sidewalk with their car and in front of 4 8-year-old black boys, after screaming the N-word at them, and heard me specifically saying, fuck you. And so at that point, they lean all the way out the window. They didn't get out of the car, but they lean all the way out the window. So they're kind of sitting on the window and half of their body is out of the car and they're looking directly at us. And they not only called us the N-word again, but said, what did you say? All right. And me, being stupid and being who I am, I started to double down on it. But one of my friends cut him off and said, nothing, sir, we're so sorry. We didn't mean it. We just trying to get to the church to play basketball. We're so sorry, so sorry. And he just kept apologizing. And then they was like, yeah, that's what we thought. And they got back in their car. They backed off the sidewalk and then burned out and took off. Now, before I tell you the possible repercussions that could have occurred, because I'm just laying out what actually happened, and I'm going to talk about what could have occurred from that point. The question I have for you so far, how do you think your experience, as far as you having those negative words thrown at you from indigenous people on the reservation, how is that stacking up to my first experience as far as being called the N-word? What are your thoughts so far?
Well, for one, I think that's fucked up that they did that, and I'm sorry you had to experience that.
You don't have to apologize. I just want to know, because again, we're sharing anecdotal stories, and the whole thing that you said is racism is predicated on towards white people is predicated on words, and then you gave me that predication.
That's not what I said.
I clarified multiple times. Right, and what
my experience was.
Right, and I clarified, and I said, is it based off of words that hurt your feelings? And you agreed. I gave you multiple instances to clarify, and then I even gave you the option to add in any type of overarching system that white people experience when it comes to racism. So I gave you multiple opportunities to clarify and actually add any additional context or details. But the question I have,
you asked me for my experience.
The question I have is, so far, without talking about next steps or ramifications, what do you think about your experience with racism versus my first ever experience with the words of racism?
It's a lot different.
Okay. What do you think as far as the indigenous people calling you names and telling you that you don't belong? What's been the impact or the fallout from that? What have you experienced? Were you fired from your job?
No.
Did they take all your money?
No.
Did they kick you out of where you live?
Yeah, they tried.
Okay. Did they physically harm you? Did they assault you?
Yes.
Tell me about that. How did they physically assault you?
Well, I had, so the reason why I was on the reservation is because I was dating a woman that lived there. So I moved in with her, and when I experienced this racism towards me from them, they, like I said, they called me all kinds of words. You know, we used to drink together. I got beat up by her dad. I got beat up by her brother.
Wait? Why'd you get beat up by her dad and the brother? Were you guys drinking when you got beat up?
Yeah.
What ensued prior to the actual altercation?
They didn't like the fact that I was dating their daughter. Honestly, that's what I figured.
So you guys are sitting there drinking, throwing back shots, and then, like, you know, everything's good, and then all of a sudden the dad or the brother just hauls off and clocks you between your eyes.
No. There's like stuff that led up to it, like,
so there was additional context that not only included alcohol, but also maybe some exchange of words that built tension.
Yeah.
Okay, so are you saying that that's why racism occurred? Not because of the fact that you guys were inebriated and you all also had an exchange back and forth. So you're saying there's additional context?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. That's not experiencing racism. That's something that occurred, and while race may have played a factor, they didn't beat you up because you were white. That's the point that I'm getting to.
They were. I see. I kind of disagree with that, because they didn't like a white man dating their native daughter. They've told me that. They said, I don't belong there. Why am I here? And, you know, obviously that tension builds up, and then it leads into a fight, because, you know, I'm trying to stand up for myself.
If you would have been walking, minding your own business, didn't know the people, and they just immediately like jumped you and like started beating you up and saying, yeah, white boy, like, we could have some semblance of a conversation. I still wouldn't say that that's necessarily how it boils down, but we could have some conversation. But the premise that you have, as far as like you actually having some type of prior interaction with them, the fact that libation was involved, I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to invalidate your experience as far as, you know, the fight, but I'm telling you, that wasn't racism. You didn't get beat up because of
your
racism.
Your situation is different than mine, right? And it's like, what it boils down to is different situations. Of course, others are worse than some, right?
It's not about being worse than some. It's about understanding the actual things. Oh, thank you for the eggs. It's about understanding the actual things that would classify as you know, being impacted by racism, and really trying to understand it. Like, this is why I'm allowing you to use your anecdotal story, right? Because if Swan was here, she would be knocking me upside of my head and say, we don't do anecdotal, we want facts and empirical data. I'm trying to have you understand this, because like the point that I'm trying to get across is that, yes, you may have felt like you experienced racism because race was a factor, but that wasn't you experiencing racism. This was not done because you were white. There were multiple factors included, and yes, you were white, right? But let me get back here. So you're saying that there was a physical altercation. You got beat up by the dad. Hey, that's cool. You got beat up by the dad. You got beat up by the brother. Like, there were additional things that were involved. Regardless, genuine question, because again, this is still anecdotal, but genuine question. What do you think is the possibility of what could have happened between myself and those two young white boys if I wasn't stopped by my friend and I would have said whatever I would have said? What do you think would have happened?
I mean, it could have been bad. You guys could have either gotten beat up or worse, unalive. Like, I understand that situation, and those people driving by, that was solely based off race. They were being racist to you guys because of your color of your skin. I understand that, and I totally get it.
Okay. Yeah, no, like that's not just it. There's so much more than that, but fine. Like at the low end, 4 8-year-old black boys could have gotten beaten up, right? They could have actually assaulted us, and easily done so because, again, 2 white men in their 20s versus 4 black boys that were 8, at the most 10. But even more than that, they could have killed us, right?
Yeah.
And not just killed us, but killed us and gotten away with it, right?
Yeah.
You understand that, like, when we talk about the way that black people have been harmed throughout the history of our country and the history of the world, people don't care. And Covey, Athena, she says this all the time. People don't care about black and brown bodies, and that's genuine. And when I say that, you can look at throughout the history as far as how black people have been literally killed without people even batting an eye, right? You can talk about the history of like members of the KKK going to church, and then after church in broad daylight, picking out a black person to string up from a tree in broad daylight as soon as they leave Sunday service. And then they would have a picnic with a black body hanging from the tree.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And you would have white babies, white children, taking pictures, smiling, and hanging out with the black person hanging from the tree. Trigger warning. I'm sorry, guys. I should have said that. I so deeply apologize. I should have called that out. Trigger warning. That's the history of our country. But to say that, that's the history would be something that would actually disrespect the people that are literally dying today. Because just because that happened during segregation, during Jim Crow, during reclamation, during slavery, it's still happening today. One of the greatest and most relevant cases that I experienced, because of the amount of time that I had to go back and forth to this area. I used to work for a company, and I would have to often go down to Valdosta, Georgia. But there was a young black boy down in Valdosta, Georgia, who was found wrapped up in the gym and wrapped up in a mat, and he was dead. Do you know anything about Valdosta, Georgia?
No, I'm not well versed on anything American.
Okay, cool. Valdosta, Georgia is like deep South Georgia, like rural South Georgia. It's actually close to Florida, right? This happened, I want to say this was like 2019, somewhere between 2019 and 2021. Right.
Hey, Santana, can I interrupt real quick? I do appreciate the education about
Okay, let me wrap this up for you then really quickly. Let me wrap this up for you.
I got like a minute to go.
Yeah. Black people are being killed. White people can't experience racism. And you actually, equating your actual experience to anything that any black person could experience is not equivalent. People can say mean words, and I understand mean words, right? Like, people can hurt your feelings. I understand having your feelings hurt. But there's a difference between someone saying something mean and hurting your feelings and literally killing black people, which is actually happening. After Charlie Kirk was assassinated, immediately after his assassination, HBCUs received bomb threats that shut down the colleges, and black people, specifically in Mississippi, were hung. And not only hung, but then their deaths were ruled suicide, and also at the same time saying that they broke their own arms and legs and then hung themselves, which doesn't make fucking sense. So The overall point that I'm trying to get across, and I guess like I apologize for being long-winded, chat, and he ran out of time. Okay, cool. The one thing that I'm trying to get across is the reason why I talk about these things is because talking about racism will not perpetuate more racism. Just because you talk about the thing doesn't mean that you're going to make the thing happen. And I even say, oh, we got a restriction. We got a 10-minute restriction because I was being too real with the words. That's fine. Talking about racism does not perpetuate racism. The only way that you can address those things is by dealing with those things in the daylight. Like, that's it. You can't tuck your head, hide, and hope that those things go away. That's not how it works. And for anyone who is saying, why do Black people keep talking about racism? That's so long ago, it's over. That's not true. We're still impacted today. And every person should continue to actively fight against it. Not talking about something will not make it go away. And talking about it will not make it more prevalent. Hey, Nisa, thank you so much. Holy fuck, Nisa. W's in the chat for Nisa. I know it's uncomfortable for so many people, but you have to learn to sit in that uncomfortability if we're gonna ever change anything. Like, it's necessary for us to be uncomfortable. It's not comfortable for me to talk about these things. It's not comfortable for me to talk about my experiences growing up in the South. It's not comfortable for me to open up a vein and tell you guys about the personal ways I've experienced racism and I've had to learn the hard way. It's not comfortable for me to tell the story about like my instance with medical racism that has left like an actual incision from the bottom of my chest all the way down my navel. That's not comfortable. That's not something that I like to share. It's not something that I even want to talk about, but it is something that is important to talk about. It's not comfortable to talk about the infant mortality rate or the mortality rate with Black women, but it's important. It's important. All of these things make me deeply uncomfortable, and I don't want to do it. I literally would prefer to go every single conversation and say, why do you support Trump? 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 That would be easy and that would be comfortable. But it's important for us to not do what's easy and not do what's comfortable. And that's where we are. That's why I have thank you for the glasses. That's why I have these topics up here on the background. It's uncomfortable for us to talk about the survivors of the Epstein files, but it's important. It's uncomfortable for white men to address the power structure that has been persistent throughout the history of our country and the privilege that they have, but it's important. It's uncomfortable for people who consider themselves to be moderate Democrats to be told that you're the problem, but it's important that they understand why we're saying they're the problem. It's uncomfortable for white women to hear that people can see that they don't really care about white supremacy and they're performative. It's uncomfortable for them to hear that, but it's damn sure important for them to fix it. And it is holy hell uncomfortable for anyone to be quote unquote BLAGA or a foundational Black American and being told directly that you're anti-Black, that you don't care about Black people, that you are harmful to Black people. It's uncomfortable for me to have these conversations. It's uncomfortable for a lot of people to hear these conversations. It's triggering for a lot of people to hear these conversations, but it's much more important than why do you support Trump? And that's just my opinion. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna say a couple of quick thank yous. Let's see. W's in the chat for Activista. Hey, Activista, who sent a $2 super chat to say, Santana, that story makes me physically ill. I know, I'm sorry. That's a part of the discomfort. I'm sorry. And also, guys, I'm so sorry to anyone that had to experience that and had to go through that. Like I said, It's never my intentions to trigger anyone or re-victimize anyone as far as things that they dealt with. And I try to do better with giving like trigger warnings. And I apologize that I didn't think about that until I started talking about this story. W's in the chat for Activista for the $5 super chat to say, what's amazing to me is you, Santana. You're much younger than me, and your experience is current, not from the 60s. Yeah, like you can talk about me, but like I'm telling you, it's way worse than that. Like there's other things that are happening on a day-to-day basis that's like deeper than that. W's in the chat for Candace for the $2 donation saying, no other race but white can be prejudiced, by the way. Wait, can be prejudiced? Oh, all minorities have historical bias and trauma. Like that's the whole thing of what the value of whiteness means in regards to them by comparison. White people created the stereotypes, the tropes, and the biases that our society holds to, not other races that held power. Like that's true. And that's something that I wanted to get into, but I didn't get the opportunity to get into that. But like that actual proposition of being able to hold said power and then that historical lens of prejudice, like that's a big thing. W's in the chat for Ms. Torres. W's in the chat for Ken for the $10 donation saying good morning. Good morning, Ken. W's in the chat for Ms. Torres as well, who sent another $1 donation. The word racism was first used contextually as white people disenfranchising the indigenous community with education. The concept of power over another race's rights. It's it wasn't mean things being said, just the way that their rights to access the same system because of power. Like absolutely. Power is absolutely something that's needed. W's in the chat for holy shit. Guys, massive fucking W's in the chat for Nisa. Nisa sent a $50 donation. Fucking W's in the chat for Nisa. What up, twin? Said, hello, good sir. I hope it's better than, yeah, I'm assuming you meant good morning. I hope it's better than mine. The guests are super annoying and making shut up. I cannot stand when white Americans say that they've been victims of racism. Anyways, I'm trying to keep myself from Nisa. Absolutely. I'm happy to have you here. I understand that, and I'm glad that I can actually ensure that you're good. Now, one thing I will say is make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're taking care of your mental health. Make sure that you understand that, you know, community is important. People are around. And if you ever need it, like we're all here for you. Please, please, please keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. W's in the chat for Nisa. W's in the chat for Marie for the $5 donation saying, example for Bub. Gas station with my ex, Cletus yells N-word lover at me, and I fix my mouth to yell before my ex stopped me. He says, you want me beat. I legit forgot I couldn't mouth off, but he would be the one to pay for it. That's the difference. That's massively, that's huge. That's so important. I remember when we were having a late nights as far as talking about like, how do you actually, someone told me to correct the actual term ally and the difference between ally and accomplice, in which people should always seek to be accomplices, not allies. Allies is performative as shit. Accomplices are someone who give up their privilege and utilize their privilege to protect and uplift those marginalized voices, where someone who's considered a quote unquote ally is just giving themselves a pat on the back and saying that like, oh, I'm doing the things, right? But I had to learn that when I tried to ensure that I'm being an accomplice for like my friends and, you know, the queer community or women or whatever, I have to understand that just because I have privilege and I think that I can extend my privilege as a man towards them, that may be in the moment, but they could still also harm other people. And one thing that I've talked about before as well is like, that's a privilege that I have as a creator. The fact that I sit up here in front of thousands of people every day and I say the stuff that I say and I do the stuff that I do, I understand that I have to still be careful and cautious, not for my own safety, but the safety of other people that look like me, because I don't want to do something or be so harmful that people like me who don't have the same level of quote unquote privilege are harmed or women are harmed, or people in the queer community are harmed, or people with disabilities are harmed because of the things that I've said. I think that's so important. And for anyone who says that they want to be an accomplice or they're standing up for other marginalized group, you have to understand that while you may try to protect those groups which are privileged, your privilege does not extend to them. So your words and actions may have consequences for other people. You have to be mindful of that. That's so important. But W's in the chat for Marie. W's in the chat for Stephanie for the $10 donation, saying, I used to know a doctor who was a medical examiner in that Georgia case. I never would have thought he was racist. Exactly. This showed me you never really know a person. Yeah, there's a lot to that. W's in the chat for Stephanie. Thank you so much for that $1 donation. And last but not least, guys, W's in the chat for Jared. What up, Jared, for the $1 donation, saying, I'm sorry you still have to put forth this much energy to have the necessary conversation, but I'll remind you that you're making a change. I will still be caught up in my unintentional harms and biases without the work of this community. Absolutely. W's in chat for Jared. Thank you so much for that donation. The one thing that I'll say is, and people are like, hey, you know, it's not up to Black people to labor and educate and all this other stuff. And while I agree, the one thing that I ensure that I do is I put myself in this position to have these conversations. So when I have to have these conversations and I have to educate people on things that we think they should know and we feel like should be understood and things that we could easily address or blah, 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 blah. Like, I get that, but I'm the one putting myself in that position. And since I'm the one putting myself in that position, I never look at it and say like, holy fuck, why do I have to have this conversation again? Like I never do that. Sometimes the only thing that I get tired of is like the same lazy questions. Well, tell me what can you do as a Black man well, tell me what I can do as a white man that you can't do as a Black man. That's lazy as fuck. Like, I hate lazy questions. Like I disdain lazy questions. Like we can go anywhere. I don't necessarily mind breaking down like some of the same stuff over and over and over, but I absolutely hate lazy question. This person real said, bro, will you ever go to the hood and help out his own people? They're killing each other daily. Shit's sad. White men are the overwhelming. I'm going to mute you because fuck you. White men perpetuate more harm than any other group in the country. White men lead in every statistical category of violence, every single one, including CSAM, the distribution of CSAM, the holding of CSAM. White men are the most dangerous group within our country. And that's not me just saying this. That's literally FBI crime data. The FBI has the repository. The FBI has the repository. You guys love blaming everyone else because white men are overwhelmingly violent. White men lead in mass shootings. You guys try to say, well, transgender people, white men, the FBI, the Trump administration pulled down a historical study that was completed by the FBI showing that white Christian nationalists were the most dangerous people and perpetuated the most amount of domestic terrorism in our country. Yep, specifically, cishet white men, specifically, the ones that scream that they're Christians. But you guys love to talk about Black people and what they're quote unquote doing in the hood. You guys are so stupid that you don't even talk about proximity. You guys are so stupid you love yelling Black on Black crime. Let's talk about white on white crime. Oh, it's not a thing. It's literally a thing. Crime isn't about race harming race. It's about proximity. So if you are a Black person and you are around Black people and you engage in a conflict, more than likely it's going to be towards a Black person. Just like if you are a white person and you're around white people and you engage in a conflict, it's more than likely going to be towards a white person. Black on black crime is not real. It's just a fucking racist dog whistle that you guys try to use because you don't know stuff, because it makes you feel safe and comfortable to say black people are violent. It's because white men are literally the most violent group in our country. I do have a question though. Oh, wait, where'd the guy go? The real person. Wait, did he leave because I muted him in the chat? Get up here, real. Get up here. Where are you at? I was just about to accept you. Is this real person gone? Where'd he go? Did he leave because I made it so he couldn't actually cry in the comments anymore? Damn it. I did have a question for him. Oh, hold on. Let's see if he's still here. I'm sending him an invite. Let's see if he accepts. I don't know if he's still here or not. I sent him a request though. Okay, he's not here. All right, that's fine. Bush Light, you were saying that I was silencing people that disagreed. Hey, Bush Light, really quick. Are you a white man?
No, I'm not no white man.
You're not white?
No, sir.
Okay, then you can fuck off. I had a question for one of the white men that were in the comments that had a problem. Okay. Scared. Scared of what? You? You fucking donut. Why would I be scared of you? Your name is literally Bush Light. You're light work. You're fucking light work. Why would I be scared of you? Oh, boy. Hold on. Hey, are you the person that had the account that said real and then you actually switched accounts?
Nah, that's my brother.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Why didn't he accept my request then?
I don't know, he got off.
Okay.
He ain't trying to hear you spew your racist nonsense.
I hear you. You're white though, right?
Yeah, I'm white and proud, brother.
Perfect. I got a question for you. So we already know that white men lead every statistic of violent crime, right? Including CSAM, holding CSAM and distributing CSAM. But white men, they tend to get like super mad and decide to like take out their whole family, right? They'll come home and they'll take out the wife, they'll take out the kids, but then they'll also take out the dog. My question to you is, what the dog do? Why do you white men take out the dog?
It's fucked up that shit even happens. Like, but
right, but why are white men taking out the dog?
I don't know. I can't speak on behalf of all these crazy fucks, man.
Wait, but you're a white man. Tell me about you. Like, why specifically? Because it's white men that do it. You guys love taking out the dog. I just want to know what the dog do.
I mean, I would never do something crazy like that. That's weird. I don't know why they take out the dog. You know?
I don't believe you. I think you know why you guys take out the dog.
You think I would sit here and unalive my whole family? That's weird to even say.
I mean, that is very much WPS. You know what that means?
WPS. White privilege.
Nope, white people shit. Anyway, you can't answer the question, then I'm good. We're gonna keep it moving. Yeah. What did the dog do, guys? Proof Santana is racist. Bush Light, yeah, sure. If that makes you feel more comfortable, then sure. Sure. You're statistically more likely to. Statistically more likely to what? To take out the dog? They are. Can't silence me, boy. Bush, like, I don't give a fuck about you saying, boy, hey, Bush, tell me, and you know what? I don't even care. You say I can't silence you. I bet you I can. Say it again. Bush Light said I can't silence him. Bush Light, tell me again if I can silence you or not. Try one more time. We're waiting. Chat, it seems like he's been silenced. Damn. That one's tough. Man. Couldn't be me. I bet you he is punching the sky right now, guys. He is so mad. Prove Santana is racist, Bush. He can't. We can't even hear him crying anymore. We can't even hear him crying anymore. Those fifis were so big and loud, but now they're just quiet as a church mouse. They're quiet as a church mouse. He can't. Oh, wait, you know what? You're right. Hold on. He is in the request. Maybe we can't actually silence him. I got it. Don't worry. Hey, you're right. I couldn't silence you.
Oh, look at who's scared now. How about that?
Yeah.
I know. Scared.
Yeah. I guess we could silence you, right? Because it did it again. God damn it. Guys, you guys just got a BOGO, 2 for 1. A fucking BOGO. Who don't love a deal? Got a fucking BOGO. Ain't that about you know what? Anywho, W's in chat for Marie for the $5 donation saying, for those who want to be accomplices, listen to Santana and hold other black creators to take the burden off of them by correcting fellow whites with what we've learned from here. Make them learn, explain it all. Exactly. And that's not like, that's in the sense of any part that you're a part of a privileged group. That's why I talk to men the way that I talk to men. It's because like, it's my responsibility. It's my responsibility. It's not the responsibility of women or femme presenting people. So W's in the chat for Julia, who sent a $5 donation saying, I wish I know someone like you to educate my racist state dad who married my mom and were Hispanic. I wish I knew someone that could break down racism like you. Thank you for the education. W's in the chat for you. Thank you so much for that. But I promise you, there's way more people that are not only way more educated than myself, but are way more articulate than myself. Like, shout out to people like Solid. Shout out to people like Adorna. Shout out to people like Swan. Shout out to people like Athena. Like, shout out to all of them who not only are way more educated, way more smart, but way more articulate and like actually do the hard work day in and day out. Shout out to them. Like, not me, shout out to them. W's in the chat for Sean for the $5 donation saying, I just bought 2 books to start my anti-racist education. I've never considered myself as a racist, but I could always do more. Thank you for being the catalyst to help me start the journey. Keep doing what you're doing. W's in the chat for you, Sean. I'm glad to hear that. W's in the chat for Sean. W's in the chat for Amanda for the $5 donation saying, hey, Santana, I just want to say thank you for using your voice for others is powerful. You make people feel seen and supported, and you're helping change the world for better. More than most, I can say much love. Second message is not to read out loud. I will. W's in the chat. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for the 5. Amanda, I'm happy to hear that you are here with us right now. You're in our community. I'm happy that I can bring you any type of distraction, and hopefully everything turns out well. And, you know, you have the support of the community if you need us. Just make sure you're taking care of yourself. That's super important. Debbie's in the chat for Jared for the $1 donation. Why do these idiots choose such a bad, why do these idiots choose such bad beers? Says a lot about who they are from the get-go. That's true. I don't know. I don't drink beer though, so I think all beer is bad beer. Sorry. Debbie's in the chat for Cody for the $5 donation saying, Santana. Thank you so much for all that you do. I homeschool my 10-year-old, and you are unofficially a part of the curriculum. We listen every day. He's learned as much. He has learned as white individuals, we need to be uncomfortable every day to raise awareness. We love you. I love you too. And like, yes, that absolutely applies to white people, but hell, it applies to everyone. Guys, we got to sit in that discomfort. We have to. It's necessary. W's in chat for Jasmine for the $5 donation saying, thank you for standing up for women and their babies and dogs. Yep. You know what? W's in the chat. Absolutely. What the dog do? Right. That's the question. What the dog do? W's in the chat for Toasty for the $20 super chat to say, thank you for being you. My parents are very racist POS, and they would be the ones that hurt you and your friends. They're very religious and use it for hatred. I had to cut them out of my life, but I feel better. And like I'm being I had to cut them out of my life, but I feel like I'm being haunted by their hate. Yeah, I get that. And, you know, in those type of situations, like the only thing that you can actually do is seek to continue to fight against like racism, hate, harm. Nobody's in the chat. Thank you so much for the galaxy. And actively try to dismantle those things that are actively harming people. It's hard. It's hard. Debbie's in the chat for Become Legend, who sent in $1.99 super chat. Say, what the dog do? What the dog do? I just want to know what the dog do. I kind of want to get merch. I kind of want to get a shirt to say what the dog do. Absolutely. Anyway, W's in the chat for all the donuts, guys. Last call. If you look up at the top and you see the word follow, that means you're not following me. Hit that follow button. Hit that follow button. Turn on notifications so you know when we go live. We go live all the time. It's a thing. It's a thing. So make sure that you guys are following me. If you're over on YouTube, hit that follow button. Turn on notifications. I'm pretty sure we'll be back later this evening. So if you guys, wait. W's in the chat for, I thought I saw one more. Reaper sent a 10, saying, why are you running? Exactly. Wait, there it is. Ian Rose. Ian Rose gifted a sub. W's in the chat for Ian Rose, who gifted a sub over on Twitch. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We're going to call it, but we will be back later this evening. My little brother Parker is on live right now. So go raid Parker. Parker, get a job. Parker is live right now. So head over to Parker, Santana Raid over to Parker. Go over, spam the chat. Love from Santana Raid. Get over there. If you want to hear more debates, go enjoy Parker. I will be back later on this evening. You guys know how we do it. Let's go.
You stepped in a box. Now you're in the ring. Ain't no hugs here. You better take your best swing. Mike Hot, who wanna step in the flame? This ain't a debate, this a mind game. Facts type lies, get left in chain. One wrong word, get slapped out your name. This ain't TikTok T, this a war zone talk. No script, no filter, no safe walk. Bring stats will get scrambled like a glitch. I got fire in my mouth like I came from the pit.
Hey! You dare. W's in the chat for the chat. W's in the chat for the chat. You guys, it was a good day. It was a good morning. It was a good start to the live. It was a good morning stream. It's a good way to loosen up the muscles and warm up. We're going to get after it. We're going to have a good day. I will be back later this evening. We will get more debates going on this evening. Guys, check out the video that I posted. I posted 2 videos. One yesterday that was like the Bird Box MAGA crash out video. Funniest shit ever. Super funny. But I also posted this morning before I went live the second portion of my debate with Rokana, where we talked about intersectionality. Like we lit the shit that I was telling you guys today on this live. I told Rokana that, and shout out to him for not only knowing what intersectionality is, but accepting it and being ready to dismantle the harmful portions of that. So go check out the video. It's on my page. All right, we're gonna get out of here, guys. We're gonna get out of here. We'll be back later. We'll be back later. We'll see you all later, guys. Thank you for all the gifts, the likes, the taps, the shares. Thank you for all hanging out. Thank you for being amazing. I love you all, and as always,